Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Locals, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I am Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels from Lynchburg.
You know, Mike, I feel like for those who know us, they would be shocked to hear that we have not seen or spoken to each other in, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I saw you last week when the podcast went out. You don't remember that? We were there because it went out live. We didn't pre-record it.
Oh, well.
We wouldn't do that, would we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, except for we said we did. So
yeah,
everyone knows we're fibbing right now. But no, usually there's not a week goes by that we're not chatting or doing things. But we had some much needed vacation time, downtime.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you guys, for the first time, I think ever, I went to the beach for a week and I completely unplugged. Like, I did not open my laptop. I barely checked my emails. I tried to absolutely just spend time with family. I read 6 books while I was down there, if that tells you how much time I'd spent doing nothing.
Yeah.
But just laying out and reading and catching some family time. So that was super cool and much needed.
And on my vacation, I only worked 3 days. So that's a great thing.
That is good. That's good. Well, you weren't gone for 2 weeks on vacation though,
no,
right? You had 1 week of work.
I was gone for a week in Denver for the National Conference for Visiting Angels, where I learned quite a bit of things. And
very cool.
I also learned that I love Denver and their 18% humidity. Because when I got the plane in Lynchburg, I couldn't breathe because the air was so thick.
I have family that lives in Utah, and whenever they come here, they're just like, how in the world do y'all live here?
And there's no bugs there.
Yeah.
Because they can't survive in the heat and the humidity.
They also, fun fact, don't have red hot dogs. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay.
Because my family comes and buys red hot dogs and freezes them and takes them back with them when they're here. Yeah, because they love the red hot dogs. I mean, you cannot get them.
You can't go wrong with a red hot dog.
At least not in Utah. So.
Yeah, it's either got to be, for me, it's got to be 100, well, not now, but before when I could eat red meat, it had to be either 100% beef or like the red dog that you don't know what it is.
Right.
So there's no in between.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so real quick, and we're getting ready. We got a quick call in. We're going to talk with Laura with the Bedford Film Festival in just a second. But I do want to mention it's July 3rd, so day before July 4th, and lots of firework festivities are starting up, kicking off today and going through like Friday.
Yep.
I know Bedford is setting off their fireworks tonight from the D-Day Memorial. And then, of course, you've got all kinds of things going on in the Lynchburg area and surrounding counties, Smith Mountain Lake, Campbell County. So hopefully you guys are sitting out, having fun with your family the next couple of days.
Yeah.
We'll just put a plug out, though. It is dry out there, guys. Like,
just be careful. You
guys know we've gotten hardly any rain. The grass is dead. Please be careful if you're setting off fireworks in your yard, whether it's, just the ones you are buying from the little stands, or if you're doing things illegally. You don't have to tell me. I don't want to know. But just make sure.
Paying attention.
Yeah, make sure you're doing things like, things you should. And we're kicking off. We're coming into the second half of our year. A lot of huge events coming up.
Yeah.
Specifically here in the town of Bedford, we've got our Battle of the Bands event happening August 17th. So we have a couple of bands that we've got plugged in. We're still looking for a couple more if you know of any that want to participate. Centerfest. Wow, it's going to be big this year. Lots of really great bands coming in, lots of vendors, lots of things going on for that. And then we are going to be announcing the Christmas parades this month. We're doing a whole Christmas in July thing. So we'll have the Christmas parades we'll start accepting applications for and putting out the themes and things like that as well. So
I guess that means I need to come up with a theme.
You do.
Yeah.
So lots of things happening. If you're interested in participating as a vendor, as a sponsor, as a band, just give me a contact, heather@cvabc.org or autumn.myers@cvabc.org, and we will be happy to get your information. But just wanted to put in a plug for those events coming up because they are coming up quickly. So I'm going to kick off the show. We're going to be talking, like I said, with Laura with the Bedford Film Festival. We have her on the line. Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we are going to chat just a little bit about the upcoming Bedford Film Festival. And, last year we had you guys on the show. We were able to talk to some of the actors that were coming into town and talk about some of the films. So I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very happy to be back.
So let's just to kick it off, tell us a little bit about this year's film festival.
Yeah, so this year, actually, we've expanded. We've grown a little bit. We have a lot of local filmmakers, but we also have some international filmmakers. We also have a filmmaker coming all the way from Turkey that was accepted into the festival this year. So we're really excited that this is just expanding and growth and, local filmmakers are just, it's taken on a whole new meaning, and it's like worldwide local filmmakers. So we're very happy about that. Now this year we're not doing, we're not having like major actors out this year, but we are going to be doing something just as fun at Bill's Brewery, or Bill's, Bill's Beer. We want to give a little shout out to them because Friday we are doing a movie trivia night out there, and the filmmakers that will be coming and whose films are showing at the festival, they will be there, and it'll be a little mix and mingle and little movie trivia night with prizes and tickets for the festival as well as movie tickets for a local theater. So we still have some good things going on. That is going to be Friday night, the 5th, from 6 to 8. And then we have the festival itself at the Bauer Center. And that's Saturday from 11 a.m. until we finish up.
And that's this coming Friday and Saturday, correct?
It is, yes.
Okay.
This coming Friday, Saturday.
Now, how many filmmakers do you have, or how many different films are y'all going to be showing?
Yeah, so this year, wow, we've got a lot. So we probably have about 20 to 25 films.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. Now some of them are short, so it's not like, you'll be sitting there till midnight. Many of them are short. We have some documentaries, and then we have one or two feature films as well that we'll be showing.
So I love that, and I love how much it has grown. How many years have y'all been doing the Bedford Film Festival here?
Yeah, so this is our 6th year,
Wow.
believe it or not. And, we've just been so incredibly blessed because we get so many sponsors, people like Destination Bedford, the Welcome Center, the Virginia Film Office. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many people. Pizza Water Winery, they sponsor us. Beals sponsors us. We just have so many local people that reach out. Rapid Printing, like the list goes on and on. So every year we get a little bigger. We pick up another sponsor, and we pick up, just a lot of local people that support the arts, which is awesome. And the Bauer Center, I mean, we're there every year, and they're just very awesome and gracious to let us use their building to just kind of continue the arts.
Yeah, and I know we've talked in the past about how important the arts are in the community, and trying to grow that in our area, and having places like the Bauer Center and here in Bedford, and Little Town Players, and things like that, where we can showcase that art and the talent that we have in our region. And now that you're talking about even internationally, being able to bring that to our region is really impressive.
Yeah, we're very grateful because we started this. It was started by Robert Ashwell, who is a veteran. He was in Iraq, and but before he went off to war, he was a filmmaker. So he went away, came back, and he was like, what our little town needs is more film. So we were like, okay, let's do this. So we collaborated, and it's just become it's just become this thing. And we've got tourists coming. We've got, people coming out, noticing our town. And it's really nice. And the Bedford Film Festival is actually a nonprofit. We're actually a 501c3. And so we're able to accept donations. And so we're like, I think we're going to start planning to maybe buy our own little building and kind of get some things out there. We do workshops and we do seminars and these kinds of things. And we'd like to expand a little bit and be able to, offer some of these workshops and seminars to local people at no charge. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, where would somebody, if they want to purchase a ticket for the film festival, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so you can go to bedfordfilmfest.com and the ticket should be there. You can pay through PayPal. You can, I think there's a couple of other ways that you can pay on there. I think Venmo, Cash App, pretty much any way imaginable. Or you can purchase tickets at the door as long as we have enough room left. We're actually almost at capacity, believe it or not. We're very happily surprised that it's grown to the point where, we're expanding physically. And so we're pretty blessed. But you can show up at the Bauer Center Saturday and get your tickets there, or you can go to the website. And again, it's bedfordfilmfest.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today. I hope you guys have a fabulous event. And if you're listening in, and make sure you head out to either Beals on Friday or the Bauer Center on Saturday and take part in the Bedford Film Festival.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us back.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool
to have in our area. And last year I know they had some pretty big things going on with it, and to see that it's growing is just a testament, I guess, to what they're doing with that. There's a lot of, I think, so not me, because I'm not good at any type of creativity type stuff. I don't do anything creative, but I know there's a lot of like people that secretly are very creative and just don't know where to kind of put that outlet at.
Right.
So this is a really good way if you're, a filmmaker. Woody, next year, put in the Sasquatch film.
That's my goal.
I mean, I can be in the film. I'm a great actress.
Let's do it.
I was in plays and everything when I was younger. So
you should take one of the books and turn it into a movie.
I could.
Yeah. I just, I'm just not the creative type. I follow direction.
I'll do it. I'll get on that. That's
okay.
a good idea.
Cool.
It's a good idea.
All right. So we are going to start chatting with our next guest here. And again, if you do anything bad this 4th of July, you might want to call him. But so we have Cam Warren here with Warren Law. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Heather.
So I guess just to kind of, I think people, they think about lawyers and they think, lawyers.
Right. The worst, right?
Oh, gosh. I'm not even going to lie. My new favorite show right now is Suits. I watch it every single night. Like I'm only on like season 6, but I
was addicted to that last year, and
love that show.
Literally, it was the only thing I watched.
Well, let me be the first to tell you that's not how it works.
It's not. That's not what you're doing.
No.
Okay.
Well, first of all, the guy who hasn't even passed the bar, who is
right. I keep wondering how does that ever happen?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suspension of disbelief.
It doesn't.
That's
although as the person as the underdog here, I'm sitting there going, yeah, Mike Ross, bro,
right?
Go do your law, do what you do.
That is that's like when you hear people say big law. Big law is like these giant law firms who have offices all over the world. In New York City, one thing I know, I watched that show with my wife, and one thing I noticed is like, God, they practice law a lot at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're working a lot at night. That's not me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're always in there having a drink at like midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That may be how it works in bigger cities, but not here in Bedford and Lynchburg, or at least not with my firm. It's just me.
I love a good law show. So
yeah. The only one that's actually pretty accurate is Law and Order.
Okay.
It was.
Now all versions of Law and Order are like. Now SVU is my favorite, but
the SVU, I don't know, the one with the older guy, original Law.
The original, yeah.
So it was the night before the bar exam, And I was,
Sounds like a book. It was the night before the bar.
Twas the night before the bar exam. It's one of the most miserable experiences of your life.
Right.
I've studied for 8 weeks nonstop, 12 hours a day. And finally, the night before, I'm sitting in a hotel in Norfolk, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. So I turn on Law and Order, trying to fall asleep. The next day on the bar exam was a question that the Law and Order episode dealt with.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason I passed, that particular question, the only reason I knew it was because I watched that Law and Order episode the night before.
That's not.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
See, studying takes a lot of different forms. That's what I keep trying to tell my wife. Work looks different for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. My work is a lot different because it's just me.
Right.
I own my own law firm, camwarrenlaw.com. I've been a lawyer here in the area for 15 years. Originally from South Carolina, came to Liberty for law school. The plan was to go back home, but I got a job here, met a girl, and here we are.
Yeah.
So 15 years later, it's
Met a girl.
I love it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great area.
I've been working with different firms, and finally decided to go off on my own in January. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. Most folks around town know me, but they're now starting to know me as a solo practitioner, somebody who runs their own firm. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that is I wanted to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer anybody, but more importantly, I wanted to take the kind of cases I want to take. So in most jobs, you're obligated to do something.
Right.
You get paid and you have to do something to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not the case. I see it as more of this isn't something I have to do, it's something I want to do. So now I can take cases that I want to take. So it's more of an opportunity rather than an obligation.
And also you don't have the pressure of, because I know in a lot of jobs there's quotas and goals and things like that. You're really pressured to kind of do those. But working for yourself, like if you feel like a client needs more of your time, you can give them more of that time because you're the one making the decision for that. So
exactly.
You're able to focus on individual cases and clients a little more if it's needed than if you worked at a big law firm and they were like, we need you to do these 8 cases all in the same week, right?
Yeah.
It's
that's where Suits comes in.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, the doctors and practitioners going more to the direct primary care options because they get those more one-on-ones and personal dealings with their clients. And
I get to spend a lot of time with my clients, give them personal attention. For instance, I had one of my new clients. I met them for the first time on my front porch. We just sat in our rocking chairs on the front porch. It was a beautiful day outside. Sat there for 2 hours talking about life, and then eventually got into their case. And I'm going to help them through a pretty difficult process. But that's one thing I really enjoy doing is helping people. I like to consider myself pretty relatable. I want to be, people get nervous around lawyers or.
That's what I was just going to say. The whole sitting on the front porch in the rocking chairs makes it seem like you're more of a person than just a suit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be Andy Griffith, who I love Andy Griffith, but I'm not trying to be Andy Griffith. I like to be more relatable. I'll come to your house. I'll meet with you. You can come to my house. I've got an office over in Windhurst if you want to do that, if you want to feel more formal. But I do a lot of work from my front porch, and I get a lot of work done that way. And I like to be more approachable, more relatable. And like I said, people get scared or nervous around lawyers, or you get a letter in the mail with a lawyer's name on the letterhead, and people really tense up. But I'm just a normal guy. I just happen to be a lawyer.
Right.
So that's sort of how I like to practice law. Most of the judges around town know me. The lawyers around town know me. And I've established this reputation. And now I want to take it out on my own and see what I can do with my own practice. And I've loved it so far. I've been really busy, but a good busy.
Right. A good busy is always great.
Yeah, it's great. The last 2 days, I'm sorry, Heather.
No, go ahead.
The last 2 days I haven't had court. So I've been able to, work in shorts and a t-shirt and get a lot of paperwork done.
That's my favorite.
A lot of phone calls done, a lot of front porch work on the phone, talking with insurance companies, insurance adjusters, other lawyers. That's my time to sort of catch up on stuff. I'm here in a suit and tie today. Mainly for you guys, but also I'm going to Lynchburg General District Court right after this. So most days I'm in court, but a lot of days, or the days that I'm not, I like to, just relax and work on cases in a more comfortable way.
Yeah.
Not like Suits.
Yeah. Not like Suits. So speaking of, practicing law, I know I think some people, and I was one of these people years ago. But I think they seem to think all lawyers practice every form of law. Like you could just do everything, but that's not always the case. Most of most lawyers have a certain
like a specialty
niche or specialty.
Yeah.
So what, what areas of law are you, is kind of your specialty area?
Right. I mainly work in personal injury law.
Okay.
What I like to do, I turn wrecks into checks. Is what I tell people. So
I love a good catchphrase.
Good catchphrase, right? Turning wrecks into checks. That's what I do. Okay. So a lot of car wreck cases, as long as you're not at fault, somebody hits you, you're injured, unfortunately, from that. That's why we all have to pay insurance. So there's insurance money available for that. The way our justice system works, there's two sides to it. There's the criminal side, which I know we just had the cop talk guys in here right before us. Mm-hmm. There's the criminal side of it, which is pretty cut and dry. You commit a crime, you go to jail, or you commit a crime, you pay a fine. There's X equals Y, right? But on the civil side, you're injured in a car wreck, for instance, you've broken your arm. It wasn't your fault. You've got all these medical bills you have to pay. You've got all this time that you've had to go to the doctor. You've lost work because of it. Mm-hmm. You're sitting where you can't sleep because it hurts so bad. You're having to take pain pills, things like that. What do you do for that? Right? The only thing our civil side has is money. Unfortunately, the only thing our civil side has is money. So insurance companies are, that's why we have to pay them, because they have insurance policies to cover these types of things.
Right.
So a lot of my job is working with insurance companies, trying to recover the largest settlement that I can for my clients, whether it be, a policy of $30,000 or whether it be, up to, $1 million plus. I treat each case the same.
Yeah, I know. And I wish I was more like up to date on that sort of thing. Like, and this was probably 6 or 7 years ago, but I got hit pretty hard from behind by this guy, and it was me and my two oldest kids. So they were younger at the time because they were both. One was still in a car seat. So
that was quite a few years.
Yeah, it was more than 7 years ago. It was a long time ago.
If it was within 2 years, I'd be over here jumping. Like, let's file a claim. Let's get paid.
Unfortunately, that was longer. But I didn't really realize this, but their insurance company contacted me and they were like, "Hey, we're going to give you this. Mm-hmm. You can either accept it or not accept it." And at the time, I just was like, "Oh, okay," because I wasn't even expecting that.
Free money.
Now, I think about it, they were probably trying to basically bank on the fact that I didn't know anything.
Exactly.
And so they gave me the smallest little amount they possibly could, just to be like, okay, this way she won't come back and say anything to us. Because basically in the thing, it was you can't come back. You take it.
Yeah, you sign a waiver that waives all your.
Yeah, and I think it was $100 for each kid. So I probably really got screwed. But now I know better. Now I know there are things I could have probably done differently.
Yeah, if you're in a wreck and it could be you're walking down the street and you're crossing the I had a case last week in Roanoke where a guy was walking across the crosswalk over there on right near Orange Avenue and was just plowed into. I mean, just hit. It was night, so he probably could have been wearing some more reflective gear, but he was hit really hard. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks. He had all kinds of surgeries. He's got some permanent injuries. But here's the problem: the car who hit him, they only had a $30,000 policy. So the max you can get on that is $30,000.
Right.
So that's going to cover 2 nights in the hospital and then 3 or 4 surgeries, maybe.
Right.
So we got him the policy limits, and that was sort of a quick case in and out. But because he didn't have his own car, he didn't have his own vehicle insurance, so he couldn't get money from his own insurance company.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. What they're going to do is if you're in a wreck and you're hit from behind or you're hit from the side or it's not your fault, and you're injured in it, their insurance company is going to get in touch with you pretty quickly and say, "Hey, we realize you were injured." Let's just say they know you had some sort of head injury. Well, they'll say, "Okay, well, we see you had a head injury. You went to the hospital. We're going to give you $5,000 for your pain and suffering." When really what a lawyer could get you is a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And that's why the lawyer gets paid at the end. So you don't pay me a thing until I get a recovery for you.
Okay.
And if I get a settlement for you, that's how my fee is paid.
Gotcha.
But you don't owe me a thing.
Yeah. I was all happy with my $100. Yeah, I was like, woohoo. Yeah. But we did have to go, of course, in that case, I did have to go to the doctor for myself because I did hit the steering wheel Like, and then of course you've got little babies, and you want to make sure that they're
Absolutely.
just okay. But yeah, I think a lot of people though just say, oh well, I'll just take what it is.
They move on.
I think they think more about like, you watch on the movies or you hear these things that these people come out with the big neck collars.
Right.
Like they have to have these significant,
yeah.
Injuries. And so you think, well, it's either that or they think, oh, I have to pay you a lot up front. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah, nothing up front. And also the process of dealing with an insurance company. And not only am I in it to recover, I mean, obviously we work for, a reason. We work to make money, and I want to make money for you because the more I make for you, the more I get. Right. So I have a vested interest in it. But it's not just that. It's more about going through the process. The process with an insurance company is painful. It's complicated. It can be a real drag.
Mm-hmm.
So part of my job is to help you through that process. The good thing about hiring a lawyer, or at least when you hire me, I take over. So all you got to do is go to your doctors, treat your doctors. Maybe we can get hit by this train.
Hit by the train, right?
Hey, that's a good case there. But your job then is just to take care of yourself, make sure you recover and recuperate as best you can. My job is to deal with the pain in the rear with the insurance company.
Right. And of course you're dealing with people who their main job and their main goal is to say no.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I got hurt. I need, medical bills covered. No.
Right.
That's their first answer for everything because they'll hope you just accept it and go on.
Right.
And as average Joe over here, just as a regular citizen that doesn't know my rights and laws and what's available, things like that, I'm not equipped to be able to negotiate with them and figure out what is a fair settlement for that. So having that you have experience dealing with different insurance companies and what the law is, especially and different things like that, actually being able to kind of push back makes a huge difference.
Sure.
Just if nothing else, in the stress level of trying to deal with that. So my wife and I were in a car accident coming back from Richmond, got rear-ended, and the kid was texting. He was texting when the cops got there. He was texting the entire time, and he obviously was texting while he was driving.
Right.
And because he couldn't find his phone because the airbag knocked it out of his hand, and he was like freaking out. So
that's what he's worried about is the phone.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so I had to go to Richmond for court, all that stuff, and we got a little thing for the cover the car and chiropractor visits and things like that.
Right.
But the one time that they were like, well, this is all we can give you, and I'm like, well, I went, and all I wanted was the chiropractor cover because my wife and I went for like 6-8 months, like it's a long dragged out thing, and I said, do I need to get a lawyer to be able to do this? She's like, are you saying you're getting a lawyer? Because if you are, our conversation's over. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying, do I need to? Because I need you to tell me what's going on and talk to me and things like that.
My experience is whenever you're faced with a situation where in your head you think, do I need to get a lawyer? The answer is usually yes. Abraham Lincoln famously said, a man who represents himself has a fool for a client. So usually my situation, whether it's you're dealing with some sort of criminal situation, you've got some sort of really any situation where your gut tells you, do I need a lawyer? It's probably safe to say yes. And and listen, you can call me and I'd be happy to tell you, I'm not here to take your money. If this is a case where I don't see both of us making money, then I want you to make the money. So I want you to get the money from the insurance company. So I'll tell you, say, look, you probably don't have much of a case for a lawyer to help you with, but here are the steps you need to take to settle it yourself. And I'll walk you through those steps and I'll hold your hand through the process. And you just deal with the insurance company directly. When it gets to the point where your medical bills and your injuries are beyond the point of where you think you should handle it yourself, that's where a lawyer comes in.
So I noticed on your website that you also deal in medical malpractice.
I do some medical malpractice. Yeah.
What is that? So what is medical malpractice? What do you consider? What is that considered?
Well, medical malpractice is a real complicated area of the law. And there are some people that really specialize in it.
Okay.
Usually on those cases, I've got a lawyer friend of mine in Charlottesville. I usually bring him in to help me. His name's Les Bowers. He's one of the best attorneys in Virginia. I usually bring him in and we work on those cases together. But medical malpractice is if you had some sort of medical procedure done where the outcome or the process during the procedure was not up to the normal standard of care. So the lawyers talk a lot about that you have a duty to practice the standard of care of that profession. So what would a reasonable doctor do in a similar situation? And if that reasonable doctor would have done something different than the doctor who created some sort of negative outcome with you, then you may have a case. You may not. You have to get an expert opinion before you file those cases. So they get pretty complicated. But yeah, if you've had some sort of surgery or procedure done to where it was a total botch job, then yeah, you probably want to, you can give me a call and I'll walk you through those cases as well. It doesn't mean, I usually tell people, say, look, you're not going to get rich off off this one case, but you'll get a vacation out of it. So it's free money from the insurance companies. It's free money.
Yeah. I may need to pick your brain. Not for me. Not for me.
I'm happy.
Nothing for me.
And I practice a lot of areas of the law. So if you call me and you've got a general legal question, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Or I know almost every lawyer in town, and I know who I can send you to. I will send you to somebody that I know and trust that will do a good job.
Yeah.
And I think that's just as important.
It is.
Because I get a lot of people, even like I've talked to friends of mine who are going through like divorce or things like that. And they're just like, we don't know who to go to. Like, we don't know who to go to. And you see billboards, you hear radio ads, you see, just different things. But just because somebody has money to throw out at the advertising and marketing doesn't necessarily make that, doesn't mean they're the right fit for the person.
Right. Most cases come through referrals.
Yeah.
So every case that I have, I'm thinking in my head now, I think every single case I have is somebody either I've represented before or somebody has referred me to them as a lawyer they can trust.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost every case I have comes from somebody referring me, which I think says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that's kind of like what I say, just even regarding like the CVABC, like what we do, referrals are big for us because it's one thing for me to go out and throw flyers around and say, hey, we're awesome. We can do this and we can do that. But when another business owner goes and says, hey, Heather, the CVABC, they do a great job with what they do, you're more apt to come talk to me than just me throwing a flyer at you or mailing you something or shooting you an email saying, hey, I'd like to do this and help you.
Well, that's what happened in my case. One of y'all's members reached out to me. He's a friend of mine and said, hey, I don't think we have any lawyers in our group. You should join. And that's why I did it. Yeah.
Was that Josh Klein?
That was Josh.
It was old Josh Klein.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
You actually joined before Josh Klein.
I know.
I had Josh. I hope you're listening to this. I'm going to send you a link to this show.
I think I actually learned that later.
Yeah, when you came in to talk to me, I was like, he hadn't even joined yet.
So to be fair, he was getting ready to switch brokers, things like that. So he knew he didn't want to do it and then have to go through and switch. So, but I did give him a hard time about like, you're referring people and you haven't even signed up yet. Like, what are you waiting on, dude? So yeah, but Josh is a great guy.
He's great, and he's a very good realtor. So
he is. He's very good.
I've helped him through some situations with real estate law.
Yeah.
So I don't practice much real estate law, but I know the basics.
Yeah.
Right.
And so.
Well, I know that's one thing. And I think it was you and I that were chatting with another member at our office. We're hoping to do something closer to October where we do some sort of like business summit where members can come in and ask questions of people in different specialties. We talked about how some people had law issues on like the business side and things like that. And I think that was something actually came of, I think it was you and another member that came in at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were kind of chatting about the need for that. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah, because we have a lot of members that come in and go, oh, I need help with this or bookkeeping, or I have a question about my LLC, or I have this and this and this. And so we're trying to put
situations like that where people are talking about different. I always learn that I'm doing something wrong, that I shouldn't be doing it that way, or that it's not an efficient way by hearing those things. And it's like, oh, so I don't necessarily have a question, but sometimes I always learn something. So.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's what I also love about like our organization, or all the different businesses and people that are a part of it that all have so much knowledge about things that I don't, or that, Mike doesn't, and coming together and putting all those people together just creates this big, group of just knowledge and expertise that you don't get
stronger together.
That's right.
I heard a judge one time who was coming down on a lawyer pretty bad in court, and the judge told this lawyer, he said, Mr. So-and-so, you could fill an ocean with the things you don't know. Wow, that was tough. Wow. But when it comes to like other specialties and other areas of life, you could fill an ocean with the stuff I don't know. Right. So that'd be great to be able to talk to others in different professions. And I'd be happy to do that.
I'm excited about it. I've already started talking to CVCC about hosting it there. So
that'd be great.
We're gonna look into that for like October-ish time your id. So yeah.
Perfect. Good.
Well, thank you for joining us. Tell us again, how can someone get a hold of you if they have, questions or
sure,
just want to pick your brain?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, so you can look up Cam Warren Law on Facebook. My website is camwarrenlaw.com. You can call me at 434-CALL-CAM. So 434-225-5226. Right, right. Had to pay $150 for that number.
There you go.
That's usually the best way. You go to my website, give me a call. I'll talk to you about whatever you want.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we ask every podcast guest 2 questions.
Okay.
First one is, how long have you been part of the CVABC, which is not very long?
Not long, Heather. Has it been 3-4 months?
Yeah, I think you joined back at the end of February.
Yeah, that's right.
February.
Yeah, and it's been great so far.
Yeah. And what do you think is the best benefit of being a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Well, I think it's definitely the networking. I think talking to different people, realize if I'm coming to a situation where, hey, I need XYZ service or whatever it is, I know there's probably a member that does that. So I look there first.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got, we do home care, visiting angels, all that good stuff. And we use quite a few vendors in the Central Virginia Business Coalition for a wide variety of things that I wouldn't have known it was offered locally.
Right.
We paid a lot more for a couple of those on a national level, and it's been a fantastic resource for us.
It's been a great organization to be involved in, and I appreciate the work you guys do, and thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and I'm going to continue watching Suits and knowing that it's not all real and correct. But
it's not.
Mike just got out of jail. He's starting at the free legal clinic is where he's at. Like, how do you even still get to be there? Like, I don't get it.
Was that the later season? Yeah.
I'm in season 6. Like, he hasn't gone to the bar. Like, he hasn't.
He's actually committing crimes. He's committing a class 1 misdemeanor, which is practice of law, unauthorized practice of law.
Yeah, he's still doing it. He doesn't care. He's a rebel.
The last season, I think I turned it off. I got uninterested.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I tend to do that with a lot of it, like the ones that run really long. I'll go through like the first 6 seasons. I'm like, yes, it's awesome. And then by like season 7 and 8, I'm like,
I will tell you something without giving anything away. When I watched the last episode, the last 5 minutes, I'm like, what? I was yelling at the TV, and I don't do that. So just let you know, you're in for a treat.
It's cool.
You could have watched it instead of reading all those books down at the beach.
Yeah.
Could have.
6 books. I was wondering, how long does it take to read you 50 Shades of Grey? I mean, how many times are you going to read that?
No, I haven't. You know what? I don't know that I have ever read.
So I saw her walking out of here when we recorded the last podcast with like 6 Grover books. So I think
it was not the Grover.
I think it might have been, the
these were large books.
Yeah.
No, I'm an avid reader. I love to read. It's like my favorite thing. I just don't ever get a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
So that's my vacation. People always go, "You're reading for vacation." Yeah, I'll lay out at the pool or down by the ocean. Like, don't talk to me. Like, there's sandwiches in the cooler. Grab a sandwich. Grab a water. You'll live.
We have a cookbook at home. It's called 50 Shades of Chicken, and it's got this chicken on the front with all kinds of
I've seen that
and everything. That's great.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to cut to a very quick commercial, and we will be right back with our next guest.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Lincoln Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
And welcome back, everybody. If you enjoyed that commercial read by a wonderful co-host, no, not allegedly, for real, you can contact us at heather@cvabc.org for information about that. It's very affordable, and it's a great way to get your message out, because not only does it go out live on this podcast, but it's also embedded in the recorded. And when people go back and listen to the episode again and again,
yeah,
you can you can always check that out.
It's only $100 a month.
It's not bad. It'd be great if you were like a lawyer looking for more clients or something.
It would.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
I think that would be awesome.
CamWarren.com.
If only. Camwarren Law.
CamWarrenLaw.com. Sorry.
Yeah, if we're trying to sell them something, we got to make sure we say it's stuff right.
I think CamWarren.com is like a photographer or something.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get that, but
yeah. Okay.
I would just like to say I've lost an earring, and now I'm like my focus has just been crazy. Anyway, back on. So hey, we are back, and we're gonna switch gears. And we talked a little bit about the film festival earlier today, and so we're kind of on this like groove with like some of the artsy stuff. And we have a new member that's here with us today, Jason with Firelion Industries. Correct?
All one word. Correct.
Yep, Firelion Industries. And so I wanted to kind of kick it off with what is Firelion Industries and kind of how did you kind of get into it?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me. It's nice to see you all. And if no one else has been here out there in Radio Land, this is a wonderful studio to be in.
Yeah.
So if you haven't checked it out,
Lots of neon.
yeah, check it out. I really like it. It's kind of
Yeah.
how I feel.
I like it.
Firelion Industries is just a vehicle for DJ Firelion, which is my persona when I perform.
If you can't tell by just his voice and the way you're projecting, like you definitely have a voice for this.
Well, thank you very much. Full disclosure, this is not my first time on radio, so
Right.
this ain't my first rodeo.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So like I said, it's a vehicle for my performances. And so I perform as DJ Firelion. My honest name, my legal name is Jason Woodle, but DJ Firelion, Mr. Firelion, all of those I will answer to. And I've always listened to music. My whole life since I was a child, and I was born in 1975. So the music of the 70s and 80s was played in my house, full volume, windows open, vacuum cleaner running.
Still played in my house.
Stevie Wonder, exactly.
Right.
So when I play vinyl records, they're the ones that my mom played on cleaning days.
Oh, that's
cool. Yeah. So that's kind of where my musical background came from. And then of course, I was in band in high school, and I was in a jazz band in high school. I was in a rock and roll band in high school. I was getting paid gigs in high school with other guys who were my age, and it was just so much fun. And then when I went on to college, I kind of focused on school as much as I could. And boy, that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down, is the college
I
trip.
feel you there.
That's a transition for everyone.
Absolutely.
So if you've been through, the pain. But came out on the other side and ended up playing with some guys in graduate school in Washington, D.C. in a rock and roll band. So that was really fun. And that led to my first trip to New York, which was to play a show in Times Square, B.B. King's Blues Bar with these guys. And so, I've been out there in front of crowds and done that sort of thing before. But in terms of performing music that other people have recorded, that's a new territory for me. So that's what being a DJ is all about. I take other people's music, essentially the records that my mom played at home. I have 2 record players hooked up to one set of speakers. I will play the Stevie Wonder song that I like. And then instead of waiting for a break in the song and then the next song starts, I'll have another song already going on the other record player. I'll turn the volume down on one, turn the volume up on the other, and boom, the party never stops.
What's your go-to Stevie Wonder song?
Right now, in my mind, the song I was thinking of is
Oh, yeah.
I Wish. That was the one that was in my
Wish.
head.
Yeah, love that one.
But yeah, I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with Stevie Wonder.
There's so
You can't.
Pretty much every song is a hit.
Right.
So that's kind of where Firelion came from. And I'll tell you, the magic happened when I bought a mixer. And a mixer is what essentially allows you to play 2 records at the same time and control the volume of each one independently. And that just changed my whole life. It was an epiphany, because I realized, yes, in fact, what I've always wanted was for the music to never stop.
Right.
And now finally it's happened. So you can tell probably from my voice that I'm smiling. This is the way I feel when I'm performing. It is wonderful.
I like it. And so also, like, people with ADHD, like, I can't listen to a whole song. Like, I'm skipping ahead. So
Exactly. And you can go to your favorite parts. And if
Right.
you had, so this is where it gets kind of crazy. If you have 2 of the same record, you could, and you only liked one part of one song, you could play it so it never stopped.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And then that's where you get into being a turntablist, someone who matches the beats of different songs, blends one into another, and gives you this whole experience that never really stops you moving.
So I'm just gonna say, y'all are probably gonna make fun of me, and that's cool, whatever.
Yeah, we are.
But I used to watch Glee, and I know Glee isn't like the, whatever. But I always loved it when they did the mashups.
Oh.
And
Yes.
so that's the first time, though, I think I had ever really heard that before, was on Glee, when they started doing, because they did, my favorite one was when they did Beyonce, they did Halo and Walking on Sunshine together. That was like my favorite mix-up. I actually even have it in my Spotify because I like it so much.
I have a
But I think
Spotify
that's really
list.
cool.
I have a Spotify playlist that is nothing but mashups because
Really?
I love.
Can you look those up? Like I didn't even know you could look them up like that.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now you done sent me down a rabbit hole. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be looking up mashups.
It's its own whole thing.
I also might have a playlist that is heavy metal versions of Disney songs. So
Amazing.
What?
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
That's great.
No.
So,
My favorite playlist I
if
have
you ever
is
wanna
my
be-
90s alternative. But
If you ever want to be angry and happy at the same time, listen to some Disney death metal.
Well, that sounds like 90s alternative too.
Yeah, I
it
do
does.
love
It
my-
kind of all blends in there.
yeah.
Well, you'd have to have a
Death metal.
you'd have to have a pretty in-depth knowledge of music and variety of music because if you're blending them in, you're going to have to match the beat. You're going to have to match the time signature.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. A lot of DJs will operate in just one format. They'll play just house music, dance music,
Right.
electronic dance music, and those songs all have about the same tempo range.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have very discernible beats that you can match up. But I like to do open format DJing. That's the old school guy who shows up with a crate of records.
Right.
You see what the party likes, and then you play those songs.
Love it.
If I've got to pull out Elvis Presley, singing "It's Now or Never," that's what's going to happen. It's going to come in there, and if the very next song is Jay-Z, watch out. I'm going to do it.
Mash
I'm going to put it right in there. It's
Yep.
kind of whatever people are responding well to. That's what I want to do. I want to, I want to make the energy good. I want to bring the party. So
Right.
playing.
And there's a
bunch of
live
different kinds of
performance
music.
part of it too, right?
There is.
I love live music.
There is. I mean, it's not about the DJ necessarily. It's definitely about the music. So the DJ can be in the background, in the corner. I've got a gig coming up next month where I promised to blend in to the background.
Right.
You don't always want to be
Stand out.
stealing the show.
Right.
So you got to make room for other people and other things to happen. But when it's time, you turn the lights down, you turn your lights up on you, and you pretty much Elvis Presley.
What's the most unique experience you've ever been a DJ for? Like I would say the oddest, but what's something that stands out as something that probably was maybe the weirdest thing for you?
I don't think they'll mind me talking. I usually don't talk about clients,
Right.
but
Dish.
this one's a good one, and they're a nonprofit in I guess it's almost Appomattox, but the Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue
Okay.
does a spring fling every year. They fly their board members in from all over the country. They set up a big presentation. They have a big tent, and they've got about 600 head of donkeys out there. Right,
Wow.
Okay.
right. So they wanted some music. It was going to be hard to get a band out there, and a friend of a friend, just like you all were talking about. It's kind of who you know in the community. Someone
Right.
says, "Gosh, does anybody know a DJ?" And someone says, "Actually, a little voice in the back, I know a DJ."
Right.
And so that's how I ended up there, and I got to play in a barn with a stall full of donkeys. It was amazing. I've got some photos on my Instagram page. You can see me. My DJ setup is there.
Right.
And then in the background, there's a donkey poking through with his ears up, and it was amazing. Now, I'm not shy about being on a farm. I love it. I grew up, with cows around and all that. My grandparents raised cattle. So I did not mind at all. But the people there were so nice at the donkey rescue. They were, "Oh, we're so sorry. I hope this is okay." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me. This is
the
a
greatest
once in
day
a
of my life.
lifetime opportunity.
Like,
I
this
don't
is-
care if you all leave. The donkeys are here."
Like, this is better than goat yoga. You got donkey DJ,
Goat-
right?
Exactly.
So
And I didn't have to pay. I didn't have
Right.
to pay. You have to pay for goat.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I put that up there. That one's the one that just came to top of mind. Yeah.
What if a lawyer wanted to hire you for like courtroom intro walk music?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Like
it's like
mix
a
in
fight.
the Law and Order, the bump.
Yeah. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
Then maybe some James Brown.
We can do it. We can do it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like to be at your court case where you do that. And I was
No
like,
kidding.
we'll all be there like taking pictures. The judge will be like, what is
I will
happening
volunteer
right
for jury duty for that case.
He'd probably say, "Mr. Warren, just keep walking back to the whole
now?" Just
facility."
keep
Yeah.
on going.
We will maintain decorum with a really cool intro song.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Been found guilty of being funky.
Yeah.
I love it. Zing. That's great.
Well, I know like we've chatted, with Centerfest, especially, we have all the different bands, but we always have the lull time, the 30 minutes or so in between band checks and people swapping in and out. Potentially having you out there just, cranking some tunes throughout the day because, you don't, we've had it where people have just played music, of course, but I mean,
It's
I
not quite
want,
the same.
it's
Hey,
not.
It should be a
because-
little bit of a show in between.
Right.
I still think you should do karaoke in between.
because what happened?
We'll just pick
Just
songs
me.
for you to sing.
She totally, you just stopped her dead in her
I
tracks.
did. I stopped you
I
dead in
don't
her tracks.
sing. I don't sing.
You don't think you sing.
Well, I mean, I can sing. It just ain't gonna be
Karaoke's
great.
about the effort.
Right.
Well, that's
About
true.
the effort.
But a lot of times when you have that lull and like the others, you want to keep the crowd there for the next band. And I found that when you have that 30 minutes or so downtime, that's when people go, "Oh, well, I'm gonna walk off," and then they leave. And it's not. You want to keep them engaged so that you hopefully have some, there for the next band that kicks off, which is cool. So I know we're gonna hopefully chat about that and get that going.
Well, you nailed it though in terms of what a DJ can do outside of just performing, being a headliner or something like that. They can fill in those empty spaces because even a performer knows that downtime in between songs, people are gonna turn off. So so that downtime between bands is really kind of crucial for keeping the crowd and trying to draw people in for the next thing. So I'm always happy to help if I can.
So, kind of speaking about that, what I'm sure you can kind of DJ anywhere, but what are your specialties? What do you get a lot of calls for?
Lately it has been corporate events.
Okay.
Yeah, corporate events, smaller spaces, indoor things, and then I've also been doing some sporting events like CrossFit is a multi, what do you call it? Kind of a multi-focus, high intensity interval training.
Yeah.
It's a sport. And we got a bunch of good gyms around and they all have competitions. And just like a concert or something, when there's nothing cool happening, people sort of wander off. So I've DJ'd a couple of those.
Is it Align that
Align is,
I think that's how we got hooked up with the Krista from Align.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a recommendation for me to the CV.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, the CBA.
CBABC.
I know, yeah. I was going to say it, but then I looked over and I lost my nerve.
Yeah. I always tell, well, anyway. So I always think of DJs, and I went to one place and the DJ was like, can you please, I don't want to play the electric slide. I don't want to do the wobble. I don't want to do the cha-cha slide. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I'll get out there and jam. Like, I love to dance. They used to do, and I think they still do the National Night Out, the police officers do here in Bedford. There was a couple of years ago that they were out there and the DJ was playing all the tunes. And so I was dancing, and my event director at the time, Diane, she was laughing so hard at me and like videoing. And like, I swear to gosh, like the next day or two, I could hardly like sit. Like I would go to sit down and be like, what did I do? And she's like, oh, let me show you what you did.
You threw a dance muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at the age now where like if your pillow's turned a little bit crooked, you can't.
I know your neck is like,
right. So, getting out there and dancing.
Yep.
I just had to brush up on my Cupid Shuffle. We're going on a Carnival cruise next. Friday actually.
Oh, okay.
So I had to brush up on my Cupid Shuffle.
100%. You will hear it.
Yeah.
So we did my wife is going to love this story when she hears me talking about this, and I mean that genuinely, not sarcastically. So for our first dance, so my wife is 6 foot. I'm 5 foot shoe because it depends on what shoes I have on. So there's quite a bit. Excuse me, she's 5'11" and 3/4, so I don't get in trouble when I get home. She don't want to be 6 foot. So our first dance we did at a James at Last for about 15 seconds, and then it DJ Scratch, Cupid Shuffle, and our entire bridal party, which there were people in our bridal party who had never danced, and we literally went to their house and had lessons every Tuesday for like 3 months. And so our entire bridal party got up. So it was almost like a flash mob type thing.
Right.
And because we had a lot of fun at our wedding, we were determined that it wasn't going to be like just an exhausting day.
Well, the song tells you what to do.
It does.
That's what I learned.
It does, but
it's pretty fail safe.
Some people that's still a challenge. So so we had our whole bridal party get up, and our whole all our wedding guests just loved it because it was it was fun and upbeat and all that stuff.
That's fun.
So we may have also walked out of the church to the Star Wars theme. So
oh my gosh,
we had a fun wedding. I may have also gotten on a step stool for the first kiss.
Oh my gosh, that's picture perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Heather, just to get back to your kind of the point you were getting at is, some DJs hate playing the wobble.
Yeah.
So they've heard it a billion times.
Right.
But I never get tired of watching people have fun.
Yeah.
People are going to enjoy it. Maybe even half the people go and get another bowl of, from the punch bowl, or whatever. But the other half's dancing. And those are the ones that I'm not for the ones who don't want to dance. I'm there for the ones who want to dance. So I'll play it. I'm going to have fun knowing that you're having fun. And if you're not having fun, I'm going to change something because we're going to have fun.
Right.
Yeah. That's the best part, I think, is watching people do it and just seeing, because different people have different variations on the dance, or like, we just had my daughter's gymnastics team just had their end of season or end of year thing. And they always have their, they don't have a DJ come up, but the guy who runs it always plays a playlist on his phone out off a speaker, but he does all the different dance songs, and watching them get up there, it's hilarious. And you just sit there, and then there's a part of me that's sitting there like, will I embarrass her if I go out there with her and do it? And then I go, yes, Heather, you will. Sit down.
No, do it anyway.
No, do it.
I know, I need
Life's too short.
Yeah. Do it because
especially if you're somewhere and not everybody knows you.
Well, they all know me at the gymnastics studio, but still.
Well, if they know you, then you should just get out there and do it.
I know. They probably know that Heather.
They just shake her head. It's just Heather. Just had her.
Yeah.
Here she goes again.
So now, if someone is looking to hire you for something, if they're wanting to kind of get more information and find out like how they can have, Firelion Industries come out and play some great music and mix-ups, how do they do that?
Well, I've got an Instagram page. It's at DJ Firelion. That'll get you there. And then I've got a website. Oh, have you checked it out already?
No, but
okay. I was going to say,
sorry,
we should be friends.
Yeah,
and then I've got a website, and it is firelionindustries.com.
Okay.
And that one wasn't already taken.
Oh,
I know. Can you believe it?
that's
Part of the name was figuring out something that would be easily identifiable and also
Smart.
easily recognizable
Right.
from other things, just distinctive. And then you can just call me. I've got a number, area code 434-439-2344.
Now is kind of your busy time. Do you get a lot with like, the summer and
It ebbs and flows like a grocery store line. It's sometimes you walk in and you think, like, oh boy, if I hurry, I'm going to be good. And then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go look for the chips again.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you
I think I need something else. I'm gonna wait for the line to go
Exactly. So it ebbs and flows, just I booked 2 yesterday.
Okay.
But it had been a couple of days since I'd really spoken to anybody. And, but the week before I booked into 2025. So
there you go.
it's just it's all over the place. It's all over the place. This I think is going to help a lot. Once people hear the Firelion voice and it's not too intimidating, maybe they'll want to come to the fire.
It's a good radio voice.
It's like the quiet.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I just want to hear you say, "Welcome to the quiet storm."
Welcome to the quiet storm.
There we go.
That's
I
My
love
day
it.
is complete.
I know. You're not supposed to say that before 6 p.m.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
That's cool.
So
Yeah,
we,
I'm looking at Mike like, you asked the question.
I know.
I don't know.
So we always ask our podcast guests 2 questions. One, how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Just a few months. It's been 4 months.
Yeah, about 4.
So about the same time.
yeah,
as Cam?
you and Cam are about around the same time period.
Yeah, you guys did good then.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
And what do you think is the best benefit of being a part of the CVABC?
I mean, obviously, the networking is it goes without saying almost, because it's homegrown folks and we're all in this together. So why not, throw each other a bone? I mean, absolutely, that's what makes America great. But the other thing I'd say, just dollars and cents. You get a great discount on advertising. You get good deals on stuff. It really almost pays for itself if you use that stuff. So I like the discounts too.
I want to point out something you just said.
Yeah,
It's definitely worth it if you use it.
got to use it.
You can't just, so the CVABC is not a magical organization where you go online and you fill out the form and you pay your fee and you sign up and then you don't touch anything and then your business grows.
Yeah.
So you have to be involved. You have to support other people so they support you. You've got to go to ribbon cuttings, things like that. I'm a big believer in that. So it's you definitely have to take advantage of it and use the billboard advertising and the different things like that. Like you've got to go after it. You can't just, it's not a magic thing. You just sign up and you don't just set it and forget it like the
That's right.
rotisserie thing.
It's like you plant the seed, but you got to water it.
Right.
You got to water. You got to put in the work, and you got to tend it, and to get it to grow. But now I'm feeling sheepish and guilty because I haven't made it to a coffee talk
That's
yet
okay.
in 4 months. But I'm
That's
going to
okay.
make a pledge to you all who are listening right now. Here comes the train.
We'll see who
Can you hear it?
we'll see who gets to one first. You or Woody.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
good.
know
My I'm banking on Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Cha-ching.
When's the next one?
The next coffee talk is at the end of this month. So it's whatever the last Friday of the month. I think it's the 28th. Hold on, I can tell you right now. It's the 26th. The one in the Lynchburg area is going to be at Sweet Indulgence Bakery right off McConville Road.
Ooh.
Oh,
So it's going to be in their new
She'll have
actually going to be
Pop-Tarts.
in their space where they're doing their new nonprofit Dream Forge.
Yeah.
So we're going to be there, and then of course we'll have one in the Appomattox area. That date hasn't been set yet, and then Roanoke as well. But our Lynchburg one is set for July 26th.
Great.
yeah. And I'll recommend to everybody who's out there listening and to the people in the room because they're new members. Every once in a while, I used to try once a quarter to get out to the one in Roanoke, just because I'm on the board for the CVABC, just kind of show support that way. And it's a great way to meet people there too. And actually, one of the vendors that I talked about that we used that saved us quite a bit of money is based out of Roanoke. So it's also good to go to every once in a while go to like an Appomattox one or a Roanoke one, things like that, because you sometimes you get people that won't come all the way to Lynchburg.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't want to get their passport stamped from Appomattox.
Well, and I think too, just so you know, Jason, it's not you haven't done not not well or not. I always tell people, like, when you join, you have a full 12 months to use those benefits. Because one of the things that I also find is people that join, they do everything right off the top, like out the gate, like first month, like, let me put all this stuff and do it all. And then 11 months later, I mean, yeah, they can still come to networking, but I tell people, space it out. Like, see what's going to be the best fit for your time frame of like what you're looking at, how you're trying to get your name out, that sort of feel. And don't think you have to use it all in one shot. So yeah, that's one thing I like to point out to a lot of businesses, because they need to jump on it right away.
Yeah.
So, well, with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in today to Talk Local to Me. It's good to be back, kind of, sort of. I wish I was kind of still at the beach reading a book, but it's good to be back, and we will be back next Wednesday. And if you need any information on any of the events or anyone that we have spoken with or had on the show with us today, you can find that information out at
cvabc.org. Have a great Wednesday.
Hooray!